the dirty business of crude oil. Now, we're all pretty familiar with cars and that they need fuel to run, but do we know where that fuel comes from? That gasoline that we pump into our vehicles is derived from a complex mixture of hydrocarbon called crude oil. Even the asphalt roads that we drive on are made from crude oil. Now imagine all the rest of America encountering these on a daily basis. Those are just two of the many items crude oil produces, and you can already get a picture for the amount of crude oil that we use daily. The Energy Industry Administration stated that the United States consumed an estimated 18.96 million barrels per day in 2013, and in 2015 we estimated around 19.4 million barrels a day. Now there are 42 gallons in a barrel, which means that the U.S. consumed 814,800,000 gallons. Now imagine I have a gallon of milk. Now say I had 814,800,000 of those. That's a lot of oil. Our demand for oil is so high in the United States that we as a country cannot produce enough to satisfy the population. We have to import from other countries about 6.57 million barrels. A heroin-like addiction, said President George Bush. With our relationship with oil, that's what he called it. But Americans are still consuming oil every day. So what are oil companies to do except appease the masses? So now that we have all this oil, how do we transport it? Well, there's 4 ways of transportation. There's boats, trucks, trains, and pipelines. Now, the first one I mentioned were boats. Oil tankers transport oil overseas. An oil tanker can hold about 2 million barrels of oil. And from 2010 to 2015, oil tanker spills an average of only 1.8 spills per year. Now keep that in mind, although that sounds amazing, 5 out of 10 of the largest spills were from boats. Now let's talk about trucks. Trucks can go anywhere roads can, but they can only carry 200 barrels of oil. It would take about 750 tanker trucks a day moving out every 2 minutes to produce even the modest amount of volume a pipeline could produce. Now truck spills an average about 9,181 barrels of oil a year. And because these oil spills are happening on land, our waterways are rarely affected. Trains can carry larger amounts, about 700 barrels in one rail car. That's a little over 3 times the amount a truck can hold. But even with that larger capacity, it's going to take 75 2,000 barrel tank rail cars for a pipeline volume. Now, pipelines can carry 830,000 barrels a day, and about $5 a barrel, while a train is about $10 to $15 a barrel. Hospitalization of rail workers are 30 times higher in 2005 and 37 times higher in 2009 than pipeline workers were. Now, when it comes to pipeline spills, it's estimated there's about 280 significant pipeline spills. And when I say significant, I mean that there was a fatality or an injury needing hospitalization. That's not including all the other oil spills. So now that we've heard the 4 ways of transportation, we're kind of getting a theme here that accidents do happen. And now I'm going to talk about what happens when an accident does happen using an accident that's happened recently. How many of you remember the Gulf of Mexico BP oil spill? This happened May 2010, and it took 87 days to cap the leak, with an estimated 3.19 million barrels of oil spilled into the ocean. 11 workers died, and 17 others were injured. This spill had an immediate impact on the ocean's ecosystem. Many animals died. The most that were affected were dolphins, turtles, birds, fish, and not only did these oil spill kill these animals, but it also affected their reproductive abilities, as well as their food supply and habitats. Recent studies have even found that our state bird, the balloon, has been affected by this spill. They have petroleum found in their blood, about 1/3 of the birds tested. Now, please keep in mind that I just named the worst ocean spill. I brought this to you to show you an immediate impact of an oil spill that an oil spill can potentially have. Not all oil spills are this tragic, but all oil spills do have an impact, and that impact can sometimes last decades. We as a society need to figure out what steps we want to take moving forward with our relationship with oil. Whether you decide we need to reduce our consumption or keep it the same, we all should invest in continually improving the method of transporting oil and making it safer for every living thing.